Okay, we're live. Hi guys, and welcome to our stream on Valentine's Day. You guys voted for CERULEDGE, so that's what we're going to draw in digital painting style. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hi, and I will answer any comments as they come up or any questions. But yeah, I'm going to get started on this, and we'll just see what happens. Hi Justin, glad you can make the stream. It's going to be a... You got good news. Hey Minecraft Transformers, how's it going? Glad a couple of people could make it. I know the time's a bit different than normal, being in the day. It's kind of like half term for everyone. Just going to straighten this out a little bit. It's kind of half term for everybody, so it's a bit all over the place in the UK. And I took the day off to basically stream today, because I took the day off yesterday. Nice, Justin. I think the first shiny I found was a Marip, and it took me absolutely ages. I had to find it in Violet. In Scarlet, I still haven't found one after like 6 hours plus 60 hours. I don't know how many hours. I went for ages looking for it. I'm trying to think what pose we want for CERULEDGE today, because we want to have a nice... I kind of want to be able to have a dynamic pose in a sense. So I'm just looking at some reference images. I guess it's just figuring out how the armor goes and works. Standard pose is kind of like... Oh, I know what you mean, Justin. You mean kind of like making the colours kind of softer on the outline to make it pop. I'll see what happens on that, because it is going to be a digital painting style, and we'll get as much done today as we can do. The arty dude. Hi, I'm good. How are you? And welcome to the stream. Do we want a pose where CERULEDGE has kind of got a blade up here, or do we want a dynamic pose? I guess maybe I should sketch out some rough composition bits for the character, kind of like how the body shape may go. Oh, hi Squisho. Nice. Minecraft Transformers. I've been working on Cheetor, not used to building non-robotic animals. Beast Wars are very smooth art forms. Yes, I can imagine that's going to be a bit more time consuming for you, Minecraft, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Dinobot would be a really, really popular one as well. That seems to be really good. Whether it's the raptor form or not, it seems to be quite a favourite among a few Transformer fans. At least in the circles I've seen on the internet. I mean, it could be completely different on other bits. And the arty dude, aka Squisho, is playing Spider-Man on the PS4. Nice. Well, I'm just chilling here for part of the day. Bit of music on, laptop going. Hopefully the fan's a bit more quieter today. I've got, I managed to pick up like one of those laptop stands that bring the laptop up a bit. So I'm hoping it goes and it's not quite so loud on the stream, but I won't know till afterwards. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out some composition bits, because I know we've got the armors to put in, but it's kind of like, where do we kind of want the... Kind of a hint for people. When you're working out the composition, kind of figure out what pose you want the character to be in. I don't know. And think of it in blocks and elements, so... This character's kind of got blades on the arms, so I may as well draw cones or triangle shapes for that, which is quite good. Venom 2 Carnage pose. Let's have a look. Are you on about where he's kind of like got his hands, blades down to the side, and he's kind of like there, or where he's roaring? Oh, hang on. Oh, so you mean the arms back and kind of like forwards, like, let's see if he's going to look, maybe. So you mean more like it's a more square on, in a sense, for some of it. They're outside. Probably didn't need to delete what I just did, but never mind. And then kind of got the... just working out rough body type. I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, the arty dude. I have been thinking of doing some kind of like hero stuff. I've also been thinking about maybe a Yu-Gi-Oh! SCP series. So like the monsters or characters from the cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! As actual SCPs will be quite good with their different effects, because there's quite a wide array of cards. I mean, I've got tons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards all over the place, so I've got like probably over 1,000 easy. It's going to be interesting, or a couple thousand. So I can go through some of the older style ones as well. The vintage style ones would be quite good. I'm not sure about this pose, this angle. Maybe if it's... What happens if we try it square on? Goes back a bit and kind of the chest armor comes around that way. One maybe back further than the other, actually. It's kind of weird. Once we've got this initial pose down, we'll kind of nail this. It's one of those weird ones where we've got to get the initial shape and feel for like where bits go over. It's kind of... legs kind of come forwards more to then go back again after, I think. It looks so weird doing the initial rough lines to get an idea for a pose. Not 100% sold on the pose being forwards, but I'm gonna flesh out a really rough kind of design based on an armor. I mean, it's not ideal for CERULEDGE, it's just to get some armory type shapes in. I'll do a bit more. Hey Galahound, welcome to the stream. It's not going too bad. Bye the arty dude, or Squisho, I'll catch you later. Ah, nice, that dude. My Hero Academia is a good one to do. What have we got in the chat? Justin says, I had a thought hours ago, what if Harry Potter was in the Black Cobra universe? That could actually work. That'd be quite an interesting one. And Galahound19 says, a little question about the Jungle redraw. Will you be taking superhero submissions and putting them into a Jungle universe? I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing yet for that one. I've kind of got the idea of a Jungle universe. And as with most things, I've got several different potential ideas on it to see what we can do. I'm not liking that pose. I mean, the classic one for CERULEDGE would be like, I don't know how I'm posing it'd be, but you'd have the blade here, and then you'd have like, if we're going square on, you'd want kind of like the head for CERULEDGE, or depends how you pronounce it. But you kind of want the headpiece to be going here, for example. Maybe so you can see one of these eyes with those bits here, and then you've got that the flame coming out the top. You've got the flames coming off here. Oop, don't want that to show. So flames will be coming down this bit here, and part of the design where they're actually on it. I'm going to load up CERULEDGE's design again a second. Kind of get some more of the design in. So you've got these bits here. Turn that up slightly. It's better. So you kind of got the whole long blade coming across the face. It looks kind of cool. I may mess your name up. Is it Sarah or Sarah? Depends how spelling. Sarah Sarik. Hi. Welcome to the stream. I believe, is that a Cuphead profile picture? Not sure if it is, but it's a cool profile picture. Did you Barney the Dinosaur is getting animated TV series in 2024? I did not know that. That'll be quite an interesting one. Let's just get a bit more of the characters design in, because there's more of a... I think I might actually go with this concept for the rough lines for our character to map out. I suppose the other question is, what style are we doing this in? Are we doing it as a just digital painting like the Terra Maradon, or do you want it more like the Bowserzetti image that I did, which is a bit more similar to the Pokemon style? It looks a bit shell shaded in the rendering, and it's then got some digital painting bits onto it. Galhow19 asks, how's the Pokemon Mech Arm episode coming along? I'm a little surprised that one community poll. Not that I'm complaining, I was just looking forward to Yu-Gi-Oh! One. Yeah, I thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Might actually become cool mech armors in that, but apparently that was not what people wanted to see, so it's coming along. I've mapped out a couple Pokemon that I may do. Ones I haven't done before in the Mech Armor series, obviously, but ones I haven't drawn very often. Some of them are from Violet and Scarlet, just to modernise it a bit more. The only dilemma I've got is Nexum's a Pokemon in a Pokemon universe at the moment. So if that video comes out before I do the next on ordering, in the order, it should be the Pokemon video as Mech Armors, it should come out before the narrators as Pokemon Part 2. But they need to come out ready for the community redraw, which means unless I completely change something, I may have to have a standing for an Nexum. Maybe someone talking about some armors they found raiding a warehouse or something of his. It would be quite interesting, but it's kind of figuring out how to get the stories to tie in. I could also put this as another inventor who makes Pokemon Mech Armors in another universe and change the style a bit. Not entirely sure what we'll do yet. Hey Ben, how's it going? I did think these looked a bit weird. I haven't actually got the shape of the... That's better. I didn't actually have a proper shape of the the blades down right, which would be quite interesting. I have actually been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. I took my deck that I've got, which doesn't have half of the newer cards that have come out because I haven't played it for a few years, like the Link Monsters and stuff, and I stuck it into an online game, card game bit. I put the entire deck in. It gets owned. I mean, this deck can handle most decks of people I've come across. No, playing online where they can select all the cards they need to do perfect a strategy in a deck. Yeah, it just goes so fast, the game now, I don't know what's happening with it. The community redraw, I've got part of the story done, two artworks selected. It's going to be interesting. I've twisted the story. It's not going to be Valentine related or romance or anything like that, but I've kind of done the story in a way that it's not what I'd normally do in a sense on some bits, so it's going to be quite fun and interesting. I can't spoil it too much, but Ehrenfold is going to be biting off more than he can chew. That's all I'm going to say on that one. I'm not going to spoil any of the main bits of it. It's just Ehrenfold's going to be in a little bit of a problem, which I think is quite cool because it makes it rather interesting. Let's move this up a bit to make this... Ooh, I need a square on shot of CERULEDGE's head. Let's have a look at a square on image of the head. I know it looks cool with the design at the side, but a square on shot is definitely sometimes needed. Oh, that'll do. That's better. I'm looking at an actual image of the Pokemon itself now, from in the game. Reference images are great, by the way. If you guys don't know, use them, will be quite fun. Yes, Galhound 19. I do remember that, and I do remember you said Akari was your favourite character. Ben, Ehrenfold always bites off more than he can chew. Maybe, but he's really going to be it's going to be interesting. I don't want to really give too much away on it, just because of the fact that I want it to be quite a nice surprise for everybody. Going forward, works out really nice if I do that. Do it the way I've planned to do it. So that's got bits coming out here. Got kind of these bits like that here with those in, and then that comes down there. And kind of want to replicate that on the other side, so I'm going to cheat. The beauty of digital, I will tidy these lines up afterwards, quite a fair bit, and then we'll do the digital start rendering the colors on this today. I want to make sure that I've got appropriate, I'll say I've got more or less the right, oops. In fact, we're going with this one because it's going to be a better pose, just all in all composition wise, which would be quite fun. It's going to be, yeah, it does have a kind of like a pinkish eye there. Kind of all dark in here, isn't it? So let's just shade this out a bit, just to give a bit of a idea of structure to the face. Oh, I've missed a few things. No, there's no xenomorph behind me. There is a rather cool Lucario I'm going to be getting set up while we're on the theme of Pokemon. I've got some shelves to put up, some just floating shelves. I'm going to have one along here, and then one behind me, probably around here. Hopefully I won't hit my head on it in the stream, but it'll be funny, but hopefully I won't. And I'm going to get all the, like, Lucario, all the, like, small figures I've got. Sonic, Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, that I'm going to actually have them set up across them, and maybe get some of these nice glowing lights that you can see at the back here, and get them actually across part of it, just to have something cool in the room, really. I just want to tweak it a little bit and get some of these fun little bits and bobs or pieces sorted. What else have we got? Oh, I've seen that new footage. That's awesome. There's also a HBO Mario trailer based on the actors from The Last of Us, and that's amazing. I'd love to watch that if they actually did that. Ben, I didn't see it yesterday, but I know what he was doing in it because, I say that I skimmed through it. I got to watch it properly, in all credit. I did see the combined designs, but I didn't see what he actually did with it. On that, but it was rather cool, and I love the concept. It was actually a brilliant idea. Galahan says, have you ever submitted to the I think it's supposed to be Pop Cross Community Redraw? No, I have not done a submission to it yet, but I will at some point. I am planning to see if he notices. I don't expect to be picked, but I will have a go. I'd love to see him redraw something. But if I do, I'm going to go like over the top. I'm going to make it as detailed and as amazing as possible to go next to his. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with some good lore. I don't expect it to be picked, but you know, it'll be quite fun. Cyrus says, wow, this is so awesome so far. Thank you. I am liking the idea of the pose that we came up with. I think, though, based on the design, this needs to be larger. Oh, that's much better. That kind of gives a bit more of a nice feel to the design. I kind of want to make sure I've got. If we're going to do a digital painting of it, I kind of want to make sure I've got enough to show really cool. Show the aspects of it. I still need a front picture of CERULEDGE because everything's from the side and it's trying to find the collar and chest design a bit more from the front. I mean, most of the chest is going to be hidden behind all this. I just need the angle to be a bit more. Ah, there we go. Reference pictures are always helpful. Oh, Dempsey, how's your badge quest going? Badge quest? I'm not sure what you mean by badge quest. Are you on about my watch time quest or my... Oh, Are you on about custom badges and stuff like on that we can put next to members' names and stuff on YouTube when we get membership, that type of thing? Because those badges would be quite cool. It's not too bad. I'm under 400 hours away, which is quite good, and it is getting there slowly. If that's what you mean in terms of the watch time side of things, so that's going quite well at the moment. It's just a plow on with it, see what I can get done. Hence why I'm doing a bit of a longer, hopefully a longer stream today, and just getting as much of this done as possible to make it stand out. Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh, my badge. Sorry, my badge quest from Scarlet and Violet. I've got all the gym leader badges on one memory I've used. The second memory I'm lacking. I haven't had a chance to do any this weekend, and the Switch has gone back with DempseyJ Gaming, formerly known as That Kind of Artistic Kid. It's gone. His Switch is what's got my Violet game on it, because I don't have a Switch yet. So that's kind of gone back for now with him. So when I get a chance to, I will be playing that a bit more. But it's going to be interesting on that. So this kind of comes around, blends into the armour here, I think, with a little pointy bit here. It does have that, and then we've got this bit that comes out here. As long as you have your profile, you should be able to have your save date. Yeah, no, that is true. I will have that, which isn't a problem. I just don't have a Switch, which is one of my goals to save up for by the end of the year, to get my own Switch to play it fully. But yeah, also it would be funny if I did that. I might actually get one of my kids to yeah, I might get That Kind of Artistic Kid, or he's now DempseyJ Gaming. Get DempseyJ Gaming or his younger brother to actually draw a submission design and send it in and see what happens. It'd be quite interesting. But yeah, hello Rifan, I hope I spelled it right or pronounced it right, Rifan. If not, I do apologise, but welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you can make the stream as well. This one got postponed because I was busy yesterday and didn't have a chance to do anything for a video over the weekend, and I've got the day off work today. So I decided to do a live stream in the daytime, really. So it's nice to see you here. It's a bit tricky sometimes because the streams, when I normally do the streams, it's normally based on the majority of people being over in Eastern Standard Time, over the East Coast of America. So I try to get the times to tie up as best as possible. But when it's in the middle of the daytime in the UK here, it's like, yeah, just see what we can do. But it's nice to see you in the stream. Also, guys, if you can and you're enjoying it, hit the like button. It does help get the stream out a bit more, and really just help me out a little bit more with the whole YouTube rant. I'd say algorithm, but the whole YouTube stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, the redraw has... Speaking of the redraw, if you haven't got your submission in, you do have until Monday next week. So about another 6 days to get that in. And then submissions will close for this month's redraw. Have I seen Chainsaw Man? Yes, I have. I've been watching it on Crunchyroll. Watched a fair bit of it on Crunchyroll, actually. And it's really amazing. I actually love it, so it's really cool. I did put a poll out a while back. Bowser won, the Super Mario one, but I think, was it Super Mario? I put a poll out for some characters a while back, and I chose one of the characters from Chainsaw Man. Not the main guy, he turns into the chainsaw bit, but the kind of supernatural boss leader or the supernatural department's boss, who's insanely overpowered, and yeah, he came close to winning, but didn't win the poll, so he did something else, which was quite interesting. So this is going to be more of a large design here. Oh, that'd be quite interesting. Justin, giving those two a devil swap would be rather insane, I expect. It'd be quite funky and quite cool, but it would be rather intriguing. So I guess the whole concept of this design is I now need to mirror this on the other side to a degree, but I don't want it to be straight. So I want to kind of get the... That'll come down to here, and we'll probably see a bit of that tying into the main armor, and then the main armor coming out here a bit, like we see, and then going comes out to probably about here, and then starts going back in on itself. Quite closely, and that'll come back to that bit there. Then we've got a bit that comes down off the start of the armour, and then we've got this weird like blue bit on the side, which I think is part of the armour that comes around here, and it'll come up here. And then once that's done, I can kind of do the whole... I am just roughly blocking this whole aspect in because the armor's quite a cool and intriguing design. I do like these kind of like armored versions. I mean, just the blades look amazing for a character design, in all fairness, but I know what I want to do. We'll have that. What I need to do is actually draw another... I kind of want the other blade to be coming across slightly. So I need to copy this. The one thing I love about doing something digitally is you've got this freedom to clone part of the layer and test something out. So I can quite easily copy that entire bit, shift it, looking distorting it to a degree, and then so I think we'd only see part of it, but they'd kind of be the of one coming across from there, just to add something to that bottom corner. Oh, smudge tool. It kind of works to erase stuff, but not what I had in mind. Yeah, the idea is, even though we've got the whole bit going off to the side, I kind of want to have... What do you reckon? Do you reckon about that pose, that kind of like composition? Would you... Riffin has asked, would you fuse Ben 10 and Pokemon someday? You think Gravitack and Scorpion Fusion? Potentially. That's actually not a bad idea. I also looked at doing a Ben for today, doing Ben 10 aliens as heroines, so maybe putting them into the My Hero Academia type universe and having the different aliens, or Ben 10, genre swapped, added to the My Hero Academia universe, and then each alien is a different personality or power or armor set that happens based on this device instead of a quirk. So I'm kind of toying with that idea, and I might make that into a series, but I am interested in taking some popular stuff like Ben 10 and that, and then just mashing it with something else and just doing something completely different with it. I do find, because of the nature of what we do from time to time, me and Popcross do have a lot of similar... We've got similar content and ideas, but we don't really have... We don't communicate in terms of what we're doing. to bring something out at the same time. It's very rare we do. It's only if something happens on both, which is quite cool. But I think now it's going to be a case of, especially since he's no longer doing Discord, so you know, you unless it's the theme coinciding, you don't really know who's submitted to both. So we can't do that again. But it's yeah, it's quite interesting on that. I do also want to do some more rather unique stuff that you guys want. So I know, for example, some people like the fusions more. Now, for me to do a fusion episode is great, and I can do it, but other people like the dragons more, and this is another reason for doing Patreon, is if Patreon kicks off, and unfortunately I know there's a cost to it, but if it kicks off with the monthly members and we get a certain amount, I can then focus more on the content you guys want to see, or the Patreons, you know, the Patreons want to see a little bit, and do more fusions or more twists. But I still like doing this digital style on the live stream, so it's going to be interesting. I have found, since doing this new style though, just going off on a tangent here, my last video, the My Hero Academia Zombies, the artwork just went through the roof in terms of how it looked. I mean, it was absolutely insanely amazing. So I did enjoy it, but yeah, it's going to be one of those interesting ones. No, I get the CERULEDGE armor. That kind of artistic kid can have something else. That's my armor. I like this Pokemon a bit more. I do think I need to change this pose a bit though. I know I've got this here for like the whole blade, but I don't feel I'm doing any major. I do feel this just needs a little bit of a. I kind of feel it just needs a little bit of a shift. I mean, the whole point of this is I'm kind of I've got an idea in mind now that I've done this pose. I just don't really know how well that idea will come into fruition, but the head doesn't seem large enough for me for the body. That's looking better. It's one of those things with digital is you can change the proportions out, which is quite cool, to make things stand out a bit more. So it looked cool before, but it's starting to come into its own a little bit more. And this is our rough sketch. So what I'm going to do, just merge that down just to make sure I've got everything. I'm going to refine the lines now a bit more, and this is something I was doing on the last video. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do a digital painting, but I'm going to try a slightly different style to normal. So the softer lines may be doable, but I'm going to make this kind of work with more detail in the lines as we go along. I just got to check I've got the right line thickness for this, because this could be quite interesting. He gets the shiny one, I get the normal one. Looks like a screenshot of an anime OP. Yeah, it kind of does. The difference between the shiny and the normal is just the eye colour, which is a bit of a shame. I wish they'd done more in terms of that. That would have been quite cool. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the pose of that. I do like the idea of what we've done here, so I'm just going to look to basically try and bring this into fruition a bit more. That's something I do need to do. These are more gems that are in the shape of what's actually there. That would help. guess the benefit of doing this on live is I can I don't have to worry about what angle I'm working on, which is quite cool. Griffin says, if you can make your own CERULEDGE, what type and concept would it be? If I could make my own one of this, I guess it would be similar to the concept they've got here. The colours would be a bit more of a... I would love to see the armour with the pink, like a pink to that blue blade on the actual armour itself. Maybe have the blades go like a green and purple. Kind of make it like a proper ghost type, similar to the Marowak ghost design that was done a while back. I think, is it the Alohan one for the Marowak? It's got that weird colour scheme to it, which looks really cool. That would definitely be one that I'd be interested in having as mine, and then just, you know, take it forwards from there. Yeah, it should be quite interesting what they announce. I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that they're coming up with. I'm still curious what's happening with the whole storyline of Ash for the series. I know he's not the main character, but you know, I'm quite interested in where they're going with that. I think that'd be quite cool to see. Yeah, it kind of does. It's not a bad idea. The fact that it's kind of like an Eevee character, depending on the armor you can have it. So I would have loved to seen some Paradox forms of CERULEDGE. It would have been amazing to see a form that's pretty much, as I say, the Paradox version. To me, that would probably make my day, seeing that. You know, a prehistoric version of maybe like a rock or flint blades, and then a futuristic version where it's like almost like a laser blade would be. I've got to draw that. Paradox versions of CERULEDGE is something I'm going to draw. I'm going to do that as a video. Just make my own versions up or something at some point. Just give me an idea there. I think that'd be pretty cool to do those. Hello Furious, welcome to the stream, glad you could join. Have you attempted that souped up, is it Hilda that you're doing the other night on stream? Have you tried that again since then, or have you given it a bit of a rest before going back to it? Because some of them were pretty close. I was really impressed with like how you were dodging a lot of that stuff, because I'd have been wiped out in seconds. It's going to have to come down a bit more, because this does come down more that way. Yeah, I'm not just going to do a CERULEDGE if we do that. I will do most of them, to be honest. Justin, I would take a couple of them and I'd just work on it from there. Kind of feel these lines should be a bit thicker, but we'll see what it looks like after it's done. Nice, glad to hear you beat her. Yeah, that was I felt the pain on part of that just because I know I died quicker, but also you were so close so many times. It was just, oh my god, why? But yeah, it was a really good stream. I did enjoy it. Oh, I can't skip that. I'll play after the advert. I do need to actually remember to sit down somewhere and just download the playlist that I use from Creative Mix, the copyright free one, and then just have that playing on something in the background so I don't have to get the adverts with it. That'd be quite nice. Hello, Crazy for a Day. Yeah, you've missed the starting, but you've not missed much. I'm just taking the base concept for CERULEDGE. I do mispronounce CERULEDGE as CERULEDGE at times, or I don't know which way the pronunciation goes, so that's interesting. I'm just taking the base concept and doing some refined line art for it before we turn it into like a digital painting. I kind of want to keep a bit of the anime feel for this, but at the same time I'm using it as an excuse to practice my line art basically as I go along, which is quite cool, but also a bit cheeky of me. No, I'm basically testing out a similar style to what I've done on stuff before with the line art, and I'll change the lines, but I kind of want to keep it true to the original art style in a sense, while at the same time refine it enough to be working for what we want. Yeah, I think them in the kitchen making dinner would be quite a apt scenario at times. Just because of the blades, you know. Armor Rouge can just cook the food, CERULEDGE can just prep the food. Would work really well. We'll just slap Japanese text on our drawing and we got ourselves an anime opening. Yep. That does sound about right. Saying that, the anime openings are really cool though. I mean, I love some of the stuff that they've done on them. There's the whole motion and just a whole vibe to it that's just incredible. Right, how's the back of the... Oh, I know what I was going to do. I need to add a little bit of a shape there from the angle of the head, and then I can do the flames that kind of come out like... Cool. Yeah, I reckon they should be Food Wars, Pokemon and Food Wars fusions. So like Soma from Food Wars could have like the blades of CERULEDGE in his hands and stuff, and you could just have so much fun with that. That would be quite interesting actually. So the neck bit. Sorry, I just need another reference image. I kind of want to be as true to the design as I can do, at the same time as do it how I want to do it. I mean, I know there's a lot of fan art that's come out where they've tweaked stuff, but at the same time, I just need to make sure the neck's like a... Might seem really daft, but I'm trying to pay attention to certain little areas on the artwork to make an emphasis on a few bits. It doesn't seem like much, but when you actually put this into the whole scenario at the end, sort of like how this all works and looks, it kind of just finishes the whole piece really nicely. That's better for that. So these little bits, probably a part of it. No, you did spell it right, Crazy for a Day. You did spell Soma right. And so Mario doing the Mario, you're calling it now. It could be quite interesting. I would love to see it end with a little trailer at the end where Bowser puts on the power-up crown and becomes Bowsette. That would be a rather nice little twist at the end, I reckon. Could you imagine it? That at the end of the Mario movie, just literally just puts the crown on, poof, and you just see bits of Princess Peach, but with the sort of like the spiked wristbands, like the bracelets and the collar and that'd be awesome. Funny you should say that, Justin. Have you seen my community tab where I've put I'll actually give you guys a special, well, I can do it now if you want. I can, or when I finish the line art, I will show you the Bowsette illustration that I've done and I've stuck on Patreon. I will probably make a speed paint video out of it. I think I said I might. But it is rather quite cool. He's kind of like devouring Mario. Although, the way I cut it, someone said, "Where's his eyes looking?" I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect that. Yeah, I've done, it was quite cool, that one. I've done a bit of a... There's more to that illustration, though, along the bottom area of it. I know these are little flame bits coming out here, but I kind of really want to make them larger, because... as much as I want to stay true to a degree to it, I kind of want this extra, like, flame coming off just for the design. Although I'll probably override a lot of that line art with actual flames. We'll see. We'll see how the digital painting comes off. There's a number of forms that he could probably end up taking on or becoming, which would be quite interesting. I'm just realising part of my line art from the base is wrong, so I need to adjust that to be... That's fine, I've spotted it before I've actually drawn the inks in, but I've spotted a bit where it's actually wrong from the design. So the actual design has it where the actual flames are part of the back of the blades, as you can see underneath me on the picture. And that's a similar pose to what I'm looking at for the reference now, so it's kind of that. I think the eyes need to be a lot larger and... Oh, hang on. That's not right. That actually needs to be more of a... There we go. Wait, hang on. Yeah, this whole design bit here is wrong. It's amazing what you spot when you look at the picture again. That's the actual design. Although maybe that needs to be moved down just a little bit. Yeah, there might be a new music video. That'd be interesting. There'll definitely be something new on the day. Always is. Those blades are quite long in comparison, so maybe that's not long enough. Yeah, never be afraid to refine your artwork even at the inking stage. It's always good to just be sure on a few bits. So that's going to go... So let's just draw this bit in. If we draw this bit in, I should be able to get the bit that I want. So that needs to come out, go back in. Nope, that doesn't look right. That's better. What is everyone up to today, actually? Because I'm in the UK and I've got the day off work, so I'm drawing this. Doing the stream. You guys know what I'm up to today. And then a bit later on, I'm out. Yeah, what are you guys doing today? Anything fun? Anything exciting? Just my usual amount of nothing. Oh. Got the week off, so you're relaxing. Nice. Is that because of half term? Or just booked it off for having it off? So that needs the... Hi Tegan, welcome to the stream. A healthy amount of procrastination, yeah, half turn. That's fair enough. This is kind of like my procrastination before I go back to work tomorrow. Then I got lots to do, which is fine. It's it pays the bills. So this needs to become more. I have added a bit of creative license on this and made like the flames around the blade larger and pointing the other way, and just wanted to kind of like, I feel if that hand's that way, instead of the flames being that way, like they show in the thing, it would be more, even though they're solid like ghost flames, it'd actually start going up the blade a bit more. I feel that's more of an appropriate representation of it. So I am changing one or two small things on this, but hopefully it just adds to the effect. He'd probably eat it. Yeah, it's definitely what he'd probably do. Excuse me. Right. Suppose while I got you guys here, is there any series of things you want to see on the channel come back that hasn't been done for a while? You know, have you got anything that you really enjoyed seeing that I haven't done a series on in a few months? Or are you just happy for whatever comes out on the channel and let's do something crazy? I do know I definitely want to do more Phobias of Dragon videos will be coming up, so that's definitely something that's in the pipeline, as it were. I'm just wondering if there's anything else you guys have like wanted to see series wise and stuff happening. Ben 10 Demons? Yeah, I do actually have to do that. Fuses, did you ever draw a Dragon Ball character? I've drawn plenty of Dragon Ball characters. I do have some across the room on my wall over there. I've drawn Kefla on the channel as a more realistic version, in a kind of similar to painting style, but not very refined. As a in a Super Saiyan form from Dragon Ball Super. I have drawn Universe 7's team from Dragon Ball Super in Copics on A3. In fact, that got taken down from Etsy several times for someone pointing out that, you know, I don't have the copyright to do that and sell that picture. Which is a bit of a shame, because somebody else on there is selling lots on Etsy, rename the names, but no one knocks their stuff down. It's the way it goes sometimes. I took it as a compliment though. It took me 3 days to draw it, and they're knocking it down because it's probably good enough to be classed as, oh wait, hang on, which is quite cool. Yeah, Phobias and Ben 10 for me. Nice. Yeah, so I've had some taken down. I've had a Teespring store shut down one time for similar thing. It was I've learned the hard way that, you know, if they're not sure, they will do so many and then they'll shut it down. It's like naming is a big role in a lot of things. So being very careful to name. That's no reason for doing Patreon. Is I can, if people do join the Patreon and it's £5 a month, you get access to all the artwork that I do on the channel. So if I do a video, obviously live streams, you can only get the artwork after it's done. But normal videos, I tend to try and put the artwork up there before the video gets released, so you get to see it, or behind the scenes stuff. I'm also going to be doing, when I get members and Patreons, whichever comes first, custom streams. So the concept behind that is, I say custom streams, I will be doing a member / Patreon only type stream, but the other thing I'll be doing as behind the scenes is you can actually see me do the artwork for a video that's coming up. Justin, it changes to $6 US. A pound's still cheaper than dollars, ironically, at the moment. The state of the UK economy it's ridiculous, but it basically works out to be about $6 a month, to which you'll get, once we actually get patrons on there, you get, there'll also be a Patreon only video or stream a month where you guys choose what I draw, and it's just only to those people. You also get early access to stuff, so if a video comes out, I'll try and schedule it ahead of time. Certain videos, they'll get access to a link to that video behind the scenes, and then they can get it later. But that still needs a bit of working out. I'm not sure how that fully ties in 100%. But the idea is I want to give more back to the guys supporting the channel, but everybody still gets access to everything. So it's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, it's definitely one that I'm looking to hopefully work on and pick up a little bit. But these are like plans going forward. So the idea is eventually, if I can get enough from Patreon and YouTube together, maybe I could go full time with my channel, which would be quite cool. I'm in it for the long game, really. So I'm planning to try and go full time with the channel and build that all up. So if I take that layer off, that's our final line art. I need to adjust that. I don't like that. That's too thin. It's okay at this point, and then it goes too thin for what we've got on the other side of the blade, and it needs to be a bit more. Yeah, that's nicer. Okay, I want to actually do a thicker line around the outline and a few bits, so I'm just going to do that a second, guys. I'm thinking more about line weights and stuff as I do my line art. I've noticed on some of my digital pictures where I start off with line art and it's not quite as refined as it should be. It has caused some of them to look a bit odd. As well as it causes a bit of a problem in the process a bit later on. It makes it harder to do certain things. So taking a bit of extra care and attention at some of these earlier stages actually saves time later on. Pro tip there. Obviously having the patience to do it is the secret, but being able to spend a little bit extra just doing a few extra lines that are more solid is quite cool. Yeah, Galhan, that's not a bad idea actually. The only catch-22 I've got on that is because it's all on YouTube and I'm slightly dependent on what the YouTube algorithm will recommend out. So I can do obscure animes, but to do that I kind of need a bit more freedom than YouTube provides, which is a similar thing to what Popcross is doing with his channel. To do some more of the more fun niches like his Mice Singing Monsters and that, he needs Patreon. You know, you need people. You need some form of. You need something to cover what you would not be getting from the YouTube algorithm, which sounds a bit daft, but when it's your full-time thing like he's got, it makes perfect sense. You need a way to keep it all happening and, you know, keep it all ticking over. So as much as I love to do some of the more obscure animes, and I am trying to work a few of them in on the channel to see how they go, it is a bit of trial and error. So I'm a bit lucky. I can look at a couple of them to tie bits in now, which is fair enough. So like Planet of the Beast King, or Reincarnated as a Sword or something, is quite cool. But unfortunately, the only downside to it is with YouTube, the whole way their algorithm works is it recommends it out to people who like the content. So if the majority of the people on my channel like pop culture and Pokemon, that video is going to do absolutely terrible on it. Whereas if the majority of the people like the content in general and the stories, that'll do better. So it depends. I mean, I'm happy to take some suggestions of them and give it a try. So if you've got a couple, comment them on a post or something, and I'm happy to put them on a list of things to possibly try and fuse in with stuff and that. I'm happy to do that. That's not a problem. It's just a case of whether it kicks off to more than one video. That's completely dependent on how it goes with the performance. Which absolutely sucks, because ideally I'd love to do anything and just get it recommended out to people who like that type of content. Black Covert and Our House Fusions video when? In a couple months' time, I'll add it to the list. I have a stacked list for February. Most of March is taken up. I'm trying to plan ahead on the live streams a bit as well. But yeah, the list is pretty stacked at the moment, which is awesome. I just not enough hours in the day to do everything, which is the only kind of downside. Kind of need more hours in the day and not needing sleep or anything to get everything done, which is a bit of a shame. And there's some videos, you know, like I've said, yeah, I'll definitely do that, but then I've also promised other stuff before that I've got to do, which is kind of one of the things that needs to get sorted a bit more. That I think needs to have a thicker line. I guess this outside bit here also needs one, doesn't it? I mean, I do want to do something with Guyver Bio Booster Armor as well at some point. I think that would go really well in a type of fusioning mashup. Probably of modern day heroes, but not a lot of people will know what Guyver is. Our House and Amphibia Venomized would be an awesome video. That could be quite cool. And Kill wonders if CERULEDGE's blades are powered by propane. I've got no idea what they're powered by. Could be. Be interesting to find out. I'm not sure I want to find out. It might mean I have to be on the receiving end of the blade. But we shall see on that one. And I just need to go down this line set here. Anywhere else I need to... underside of this one. I think we're good to actually look to ink this now. So let's select everything we don't want. Let's write this right up because I've got really thick lines on everything. Invert. Actually, we'll do something different today. We'll give it a different colour background so people can see it a bit better. So that works nicely for the lines and that. I'm going to... I need a background behind the character. What do you think? What episode do I have in store for Friday? It's one or two. It's either going to be a Pokemon Mech Arm episode. I need to sort out what's happening with that. Or I've got a fallback episode I will be looking to do, which I won't mention because I don't know how well that's going to do. Can we colour it like a tarot card? What, the background? What, chains in the background? Possibly. The background does also help determine the character on this, so I know I've got that kind of like as a block for me to have. That's my fallback lock there, and I'll duplicate that and lock it as a fallback inks layer. I basically don't want to lose anything. Background colour. Let's have a think. So I just got quite nice blues and that, so I want a warm background colour for the contrast. So you say that you had the chance to... Oh, say that you had the chance to design my own original anime series. What would you do? What would the theme? Some of these. Oh, I've got tons. I like the whole concept in anime of having the tech and the magic. So it wouldn't quite be like Knights and Magic, but it would be rather cool. It'd be like one of those... what's the best way? Knights and Magic's the closest I've got to it, but it would basically be ones where you can have spells or powers, and then you'd have... well, there's two. There's two, actually. One's the whole martial arts side of things, because I do martial arts. So I did start working on a comic ages ago. I did 5 chapters, written out with word for word what's happening. Never drew it. Tried to, never finished it off. And that would be quite a cool one to do, because that was, you know, build it up, learn ability, show the story, and it's basically about how 3 legendary dragons came to be the guardians of this whole place, but one of the... It starts off with one of the younger members of the tribe, or the clan, and goes into the sacred cave when it shouldn't have done, and starts getting told by one of the elders about the story of how they became the elders who stopped this like giant holy war. And then it goes back to them as the elders as young kids without their dragon forms, and being dragged onto this kind of like mission thing at a certain age. They go along and they start getting into sort of like intermingled into the whole the whole sort of like chaos that they were oblivious to. So that was the kind of one that I've got, which is quite cool. But yeah, it does vary. It does vary on that. In terms of a series, it would probably be take that and just add a few things later on, so it'd have some mech and stuff. It's almost similar to the is it Eden and Zero, the kind of like fairy tale one, but in space. It'll be kind of that whole concept, in a sense, but not in space. You'll just be, you know, set up for all of those bits. I'm only going to do these. I need background colours like reds and stuff and pinks to pick out a few things that I want to have, and then I might look to add some chains or something to it behind the scenes. I need to get a kind of an array of colours for bits to happen. So this is really weird, but in a painting style, chucking colours down actually works really well for what you want to do. I mean, I know we've got purples there, but I'm going to probably need some kind of, you know, corresponding colours, and then what about some chains? So some kind of giant chain-like shapes in the background that will I mean, they don't matter so much on the bits where I'm behind the scenes, but the whole concept is like actually, let's just up those colours a bit. Yeah, some of those concepts I've got to be drawn would be quite cool. It's just a case of I say, as with everything, it's a case of just getting the right bit on it. So I've got my own. I mean, the multiverse story arc with the Transformers and the symbiotes is also one of my kind of like fanfic ones that I came up with Prime and everyone. And I still need to continue that series. Actually, that's another one that's behind currently. That I've got to do on the channel. It's the multiverse story arc that we had. Those were quite good, and I haven't drawn them in a while. And Transformers would be really cool, but it all depends on what happens after that point. So it's building that all up and sorting bits out on that. But yeah, if anyone's just jumping in the stream, just in case there's anyone jumping in at any point, this will make more sense a bit later. These are more for background, so I'm plugging in a bit of a rough background concept, and chains were suggested, so I'm just plugging in a few chain light effects and colours, and then what I need to do is just place them behind the scenes, and then once I've got a few placed in a few areas, I can start should be around that way. Because that's going to be at the top of these layers. It seems really daft what I'm doing here, but it's it will make sense a bit later, I promise you guys. I'm going to leave it at those though. That's going to get blurred a bit. I'll duplicate that and lock a layer out just to be on the safe side. I don't want to lose them, but just maybe I'll have that for now, and then I will start working on the actual colours of this one. So I need that purplish colour that we've got. Oops. That's fun. I don't know what I did, but I managed to shift all of the things across in the app. Oh, yeah, I've seen Dragonaut. That's not too bad. That was quite a good series. I have seen Ruby. I've seen the first season and half the second season. I've got so much to catch up on that. It was years back I watched it, but it's definitely one on my list of things to do. It was quite a cool series. I do like the concept of that. It took a while to get used to the kind of style. When it first came out, it was that whole style with the kind of like that 3D anime on the series, which threw me for a bit at the start because I wasn't used to it. I was very heavy into the 2D style, as it were, of that. And then over time, kind of like building stuff up from there. But yeah, it's a really good series. I do love the whole concept of the weapons and that, and the scythe and stuff. Yeah, that bit's there, so that's going to have to be this bit here. Yeah, this should, once it's done, look really, really cool. That's that colour. I need almost a bluish colour now. Actually, no, I'm going to do that on a new layer, the blues. I'm going to try and keep each colour on a layer, and it will make more sense a little bit later why. But it does help dramatically with what's happening. I'm not worried about staying in the lines so much on these layers, because they're separate layers. I just need to get the main bulk of it in. It helps with the shading later when I alpha lock the layer. Only the bits that are coloured in that bluish colour will be alpha locked, which works really well. And I know the majority of the bottom of this blade and these flames are kind of blue. And then I'll refine the shapes a bit later. It's one of those weird steps where, because it's more of a digital painting style, I've got a bit more freedom to be messy at this point, which is really nice to do. Just being able to like add the colours and make it kind of stand out to the background is always really good fun. That also means I need to then go to the so if I show you now, if I alpha lock this, I can just turn this a little bit how I want to be in colour. Which helps a lot when I'm doing the general gist of flames and that. And then I turn it off when I want to put more stuff on that layer, so I want that kind of... It's a purpley pink, isn't it? It's pink to a purple, so what I need to do is fill out the blade more of this colour. The rest of these bits. And then when I alpha lock that, I can get this really bright pink. Is it bright pink? Yeah, it's a bit of a bright pink. And then soft brush. Just build it up. Don't know if the soft brush is the one that I want to use though. So let's put a clipping mask on that one. Use the painting brush. Really weird actually painting in a colour change. What's that look on the plate? Okay, that's not too bad then. Maybe that's not light and that's better. Oh, did I actually accidentally undo that? I did. That's fine. That one that we put back in, I accidentally undid it on the layer. That's better. Thought something looked a bit odd there. Have I thought about doing an episode on Ruby? I have actually, a couple of times. I haven't actually refined anything down for it if I was going to, but I have thought about it a couple of times. I guess the question is, how would I fit in, or what universe would I be fitting it into for what's happening? If that makes sense. I'd need to make it so it ties into the relevant universe. Yeah, that one actually has to be underneath these two. I mean, I know there's a formula that works, like if I Venomize everything, that'll work. If I turn them into Transformers, that'll work. But it's the time to do it. So it's kind of figuring out what's the best... what's going to work the best for the channel and for the most people to view it. And then what's going to work the best for me drawing a story around it. Like, swapping a few bits here and there are fine, but if I do it right, we could have a whole new series that started. Which is always the fun part. It's just making sure we actually get the fun part. Okay, so I need to... for those. I do need to erase chunk in this section because that's not going to have anything. And I just need to erase a bit around here just to make sure I'm... In terms of this one, I want to erase a few bits around here. I just tidy a few of these extra lines out. If I tidy as I go along, it's going to be Although it's a bit annoying to tidy as you go along, it's going to be much more beneficial a bit later. Because I've got nice neat line work to work with, it makes it a bit easier to make some of these bits work. I suppose the question is there anything I know we said about the Mario movie and that. Is there anything anyone's excited for or something, you know? Either on the channel. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be a good one that I'm going to put on the channel. I really enjoy... I do like the games. I spent ages playing playing DempseyJ Gaming, and over the weekend on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel. Basically, I got asked to kill him by his brother or win the duel and kill its life points with a particular monster. Yeah, it took a while to actually do that. About 3 hours later, I managed to take him out with that monster after resetting the board about 3 times. I did spend a lot learning about how like link monsters and stuff work. I think I said at the start of the stream over the weekend, and playing online to understand some of the newer decks and what they do. Oh my god, that's just insane. I also have a booster art challenge with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon booster cards happening at some point this month, if I can get the artwork done. I've kind of put myself in it because I've decided to do 3 characters per fusion on 3 basically I'm taking 9 characters and fusing them into 3 new creature designs. 2 from Pokemon, 1 from Yu-Gi-Oh! Per fusion. I'm not going to say which ones they are. It's the booster art challenge, but it's going to be a bit of a it's going to be a bit of a challenge to do that. I'm going to love it. It's going to be fun. It's just definitely going to be more complex than I was initially thinking. Yeah, that is more of a white colour for the area. Right, so I think Justin was saying at the start about softer lines. So I will make that happen in just a second. I just need most of the core bits in on this too. Do the things that need doing on these parts. It's weird. This is it's actually weird showing the process because this could take ages to do this illustration, but at the same time it's like, if it's like, oh wow, these look great, how long does it take you to do? 8 hours. What, 8 hours for that? Yes, 8 hours for that. I think everybody forgets when you're not using AI art and that it takes a while, but it's good fun. Yeah, that would be awesome if it was on a cover. I have to say, I would love that to happen. Some artwork over time. And then again, at the same time, in the reverse part of the world, I'd love to do it, and I wouldn't mind doing covers, but that would take up a lot of my time. So it's one of those things. If I did get to do more covers or do artwork and get it to the point where it's good enough to be covers, what will happen is I may end up not having time to do anything on YouTube for a while. I'll have to work it all out. Although it would be quite cool to at least maybe be asked to do a cover and slot in between everything else, like just the odd cover here or there. Yeah, you're right, Crazy for Date. It is weird. I mean, I get it to a degree. So I do get it with like AI art. You can take a really bad drawing and improve it if you're not very good at drawing. I get it. But you lose the creative freedom that or the creativeness that happens from an actual artist, or for doing it yourself. There's a whole thing that AI art will never be able to replicate. The final effects will look amazing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they'll look like, wow, this is incredible. But you still lose something in it. I just feel, as cool as it is, I've seen a lot of AI art. Now to generate concepts at the start of stuff, not a problem. I completely get that. You know, if you're stuck on a concept and you want, a grass type Pokemon and you can do it, yeah. And I actually did plan a video around that. I never got around to doing it. Basically, I was going to take AI generated concept designs for Pokemon and turn them into actual Pokemon with my style. Because you can put a few keywords in and get a few ideas, which would be quite cool. Oh, hey, that kind of artistic kid. How are you? How's your day going? Decided to be artistic today instead of gaming. How are we doing anyway? What's the like ratio to the rest of it at the moment for the stream? How many watching? How many likes? Fair enough, that's not a problem. It happens. Let's get that on there. 12 likes, 6 viewers. That's cool. If we've got more likes than viewers, then people that have disappeared have at least liked the stream before going, which is even better. Yeah, we're doing CERULEDGE. Hopefully I pronounced it right, because you always correct me. In a digital style, so I'm just sorting out most of the flat colours and a few areas of the design. Is it CERULEDGE? I have said I'll probably pronounce it wrong several times in the stream, so not worried about that. Wow, I'm glad I said it right this time. I don't normally. I need to get the pink behind the eyes. Yeah, so we've done the line. I'll show you in a minute how far we've actually gotten with the whole design, but we've done the line out, we've got a pose, and we are just working out. Well, it will be the second or third time, Justin. The first Shredder Venomized video I did was completed in one stream. That's about 4 hours. And the Pokemon type swap I did with one stream, and that was about 8 hours. So that wasn't too bad. Give me a second, guys. The sun's come out. It's getting a bit warm, so I'm just going to take the hoodie off a minute, and then we'll continue with the picture. Oh, place that under the desk for now, and we'll crack on with this. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one that I'm going to try and complete today, because I'm really enjoying how this progress is going. And there's not too many colours to do, which is quite cool. It does help a little bit if there's not an overwhelming amount of colour in it. Furious has asked, what do you think is the best way to start drawing? Just to do it. There are various techniques depending on what you want to do. You could try automatic drawing. I call it automatic drawing. It's basically where you get a bit of paper, a pencil, you scribble on the paper, and then you let your mind pick out shapes, and you get a pen or something, and you block colours out or silhouettes, or you draw the lines around, and then you rub the pencil out afterwards, and you can get some really interesting shapes from that. The other one is to just find something you like. So if you like Pokemon, find a basic Pokemon, a starter one maybe, draw it, and then keep drawing it again and again until you get used to it, and then build that up on each one bit by bit. But the best way to get started is just to draw. Don't overthink, just do it, give it a go, draw it a few times. No one's going to get it first time round. Even now, I draw and I don't get it right, either whether it's the construction lines, the basic shapes, the colouring. I know enough to do well, but I don't get them right all the time, or straight off the bat, which is fun, but it's also it can be almost infuriating, like playing Cuphead at times. But it's learning, take it in steps as well. So if you want to draw characters, learn anatomy and draw, and spend time learning how to draw hands or feet depending on what type of character you want. That also helps in what you're kind of like doing. I guess it's your starting point. So wherever your starting point is, that's where you want to be. So if it's Cuphead, start learning how to draw the Cuphead characters. But pick something simple and work your way up. A lot of people do it the wrong way around, and they pick something really complex to draw, and then when they can't draw it, they're like, why can't I? Everybody can copy. Copying is easy. I'll tell you that now. Everyone can copy something, but to actually draw it, or draw something, based on something, that takes a bit of effort, and if you've got the patience for it, go for it. Hi Matthew, welcome to the stream. I guess people are slowly getting notified by YouTube, even though I've had the notification out for like a day. I do know sometimes it doesn't come through straight away. I think I've got the main bulk of the design in place. Oh, almost. I need to kind of erase these bits behind here now and fill it in black, or the dark colour that we're using for it. I suppose there's an easy way of doing it, but I'm trying to keep all of the same colour on one particular layer. The reason for it, in case anybody starts wondering, is because it allows a much better control later on in terms of what I'm working on. Well, that's not a problem, Matthew. I'm streaming earlier than before anyway. I didn't stream yesterday. It was a busy day yesterday. Well, it was a busy day over the week, busy weekend, and didn't get a chance to do a video, and I wasn't about to stream last night, so it's more a case of today. I had the day off. I booked the day off to stream specifically. And once I finish this bit, I can start working on the some of the darker colours and the shadows. In terms of the blades, I've kind of done the basics for them while I was there, because they're multicoloured. But I do find drawing very relaxing. Oh, wrong there. Must be on that there then. No? Where is that bit? Ah. That's fine, you don't have to worry about that one. And then if I go back to our colour, painting, onto the right layer. I could just completely colour fill a section of the layer in, but it's more fun to actually do a bit of the painting work. Oh, actually, I'd missed some of the flames out on the layer. Best add those back in. We've missed all the flames on the top of his head. Or on the top of the Pokemon's head. I will technically cheat on this bit. Yeah, that works. Just adding a bit of that to it is quite... I kind of need all of the colours in place for what I'm going to do next, because what I plan to do is change the line art to kind of blend in with the colours a bit more. But I need a base colour underneath. Now if it was a character, I'd change it based on the skin tone, which will give a nice colour, but because we're... Sorry, if it's like a humanoid character with skin. But because we're not quite doing skin on this character, it kind of needs a bit more of a careful approach. But that's also the reason why I back up the line art. So I think the last bits we want, I'm going to make the eyes shiny, in a sense. I kind of feel this blue will be quite nice on the eyes. I know when I zoom out in a minute. Yeah, that works. Punk Lee, hello, my day's going good. How is yours? Sorry, I didn't reply a bit sooner in the chat. When you start drawing and you get into what you're doing a little bit, kind of need to remember to look up and have a look at the chat. But yeah, how is your day going? And thank you for joining onto the stream. Justin, were you really? I mean, that's dedication. Right, I think that's the main bulk of the design done. So yeah, because the bit on the back, CERULEDGE is just kind of like spike coming out the back, but I feel you wouldn't see it with the angle that we're at. So now that we've done this and we've got all the basics in place, I can do a number of things. The first one I want to do though, actually, where's that layer? I kind of want to remove this bit here. I think the colour's blending in a bit more than I was looking forward to having. And then on this layer, I want to pick that colour back up. Just fill a few of these bits in. I appreciate the dedication there, Justin. Just don't, you know, like burn yourself out and crash and burn type thing from doing it. But I do appreciate it. Okay, so now I've got the main bulk of this in. I'm going to alpha lock layers and start working on painting in the colours. Now, has that got more of a more pinkish purple? Cool. Yeah, I would. If you you're in the Discord, aren't you, Justin? If you whack it on the Discord, I will take a look after the stream. I can't have Discord running at the same time as I've got the stream going. It will completely crash everything, or it stops the charging or something. It affects the laptop in a really funny way, which isn't too bad because, you know, sometimes it'd be nice to have a bit of a break from the laptop, but when I'm streaming, it's not the best idea in the world to have that happen. So what I'm doing here is, even though I've got a base colour, I'm picking a slightly warmer tone to try and pick up some more of the structure of the shapes and kind of like the form, because I think even though we've got these bits here, and because I've done all the colours on a layer, I can alpha lock it, so I don't have to worry about any of the other layers behind it. It just works on whatever's got that colour, which is why you can see the only bits being affected are the purple, because currently that's the layer that I'm working on, which makes it really good. The difference between alpha locking and a clipping mask is a clipping mask will take everything that's on that layer, kind of like an alpha lock, but it'll be on a brand new layer, so you could do more with it. But if you're just adding colours and a few bits of light and dark and you're happy to add them manually, an alpha lock means you work specifically on those colours on that layer. So when you do flats, an alpha lock's really good to just change the colour of a whole layer in one go. Or in this case, it's really good to just add a bit more depth to a few elements on here. And then obviously I can take the original colour, I can go the other way. So usually when you go darker, you go to, say this is my base colour. If I actually that's my base colour. If I want to go darker, you go down to the right, and then you move more towards purple. If it's a warm, the closest way to purple on the colour wheel. So for example, if I'm here, I move down to the right, and my closest colour way to purple is to go this way, which tends to go through the pinks towards purple. And now I've got a nice colour to use. The reverse, if you want to go lighter, you go up and to the left, but you move the colour wheel the longer way around to purple. So now I'll go into the oranges and that. And it's kind of the same as on Classic. Like, imagine that the end here joins that end here. So if you're on a colour here and you go to purple, you're going here. If you're on a colour here and you want to go warmer, you need to go around to this side to get the yellows and the warm colours. And that's just basically how it works. So it's up a bit, move more towards or away from purple if you want to go warmer, and then you get the colours that you'll start to kind of see in the actual Oh, I want to watch that. Sorry, 65. It's an advert for 65, which is the new one with the guy who played Kylo Ren from Star Wars. I forget, I'm used to actors' names and that, but effectively it's got him in it, and it's, yeah, it looks really good. Got to imagine the blade's not really there in my line of sight when I do this. I do apologise, guys. For some reason, I seem to be hitting every shortcut command going when I go to pinch and stuff today, which is a bit weird on the iPad, but it starts to give an idea of the shape and form of everything that we're doing. You'll find a lot of the colours actually blend over between the purples and that because of the design. Maybe this is why they didn't actually do a super shiny change, because the colour blending just didn't work. I think the trickiest part on this is sorting out a few bits. Hi Jasmine, welcome to the stream. Oh Justin, thanks for sending it. I didn't spot you there. I was so engrossed in doing some of the bits, but I'm glad you like how this is coming out. We've got a chain design in the background, which is quite cool and I quite like. And we're just literally starting to render out the more of the basics and the sort of like the flat areas of the, say the flats. I'm kind of like rendering out some of the look of it now in a bit more of a paintery style, which is what I'm going for. But it's just working out where solid bits of colour go to the rest of it so that it kind of blends in nicely. I think the thing I'm learning a lot about the paintery style is sometimes less is more. What's the shiny version of Burmy? Oh, if you're on about Barney, I think Barney's nothing to do with Pokemon. It's a big purple dinosaur, if it's the one that I think it is. Yeah. Oh, do you guys think I should do a challenge video for the community? What I mean by that is I have 3 different art softwares at least that I can do, and this big display that I've got here is actually a pen display for the laptop, so I can actually draw in Photoshop on it. So should I do a couple of... Sorry, the chair's making squeaky noises. Shall I do a couple of designs, one video, and one design's on like the iPad, you'll know which one that one is, one in Photoshop, one in Sketchbook Pro, the same program that Popcross uses, and we'll see if you guys can tell which one's which on the final illustration in a poll before the video comes out or something. I'll do some illustrations, maybe do it as a challenge or something. I'll give the final the winner like the high-res versions of the artwork ahead of everything else or something, which could be quite cool. But I'm just thinking of ways that I can do some fun stuff. It's kind of like a giveaway, but it's not a giveaway, if that makes sense. I wouldn't want to class it as a giveaway as such. I just wanted to do a little competition and have like see what happens with it. That's if people think it's a good idea. If they're not interested, you know, if you guys think, nah, it's fine, then that's it. I do need to do some artwork as like all of the on the 3 different software anyway. Just thought it'd be quite an interesting concept to do that. Let's do that next. What do you guys think of the stream so far? I know people are quite liking how the Pokemon's turning out. You guys have anything you want me to do more of in streams? Like I do try and do some design notes as we... some of the design notes and that as we go along. So I do try to add... I say design notes, some design tips and stuff as we go along, trying to add a bit more value for you guys, which I don't often get a chance to do in the normal videos. I mean, if you've got any questions, I know usually Tegan has some questions art-wise, but we've done our best to answer them in streams over the past however long it's been, so might not have any currently. But if you guys have any questions, if you're new to the stream and you want to ask any art questions or anything, please feel free. If you want to ask any questions about Pokemon and that, feel free on that too. My favourite one's Lucario, and I've got this awesome unboxed Lucario figurine, which I absolutely love. It's posable too, so I can actually put in fighting poses and stuff. I think if I get the right tool from somewhere, I can actually have it stood up. I've got some of those bodycon style figurines, so they're basically posable drawing dolls. This is like one of the female ones. So they usually come with something that either goes into the back of them or wraps around them. And I might be able to pose that Lucario using them, which will be rather cool. But I tend to just have them and use them as I need to for certain poses, which is another good reference if you just want the construction shapes, is to buy a set of them. They're not too expensive. I'll probably try and put a link in the Discord or something. You can pose them, you can swap the hands out as well. So the hands come off, the feet goes to a knelt down, sitting down. They get swords and shields or mobile phones, guns. You just take them off, put them on, pose it how you want, take a picture and trace around it, or just visually look at it and draw it, which is another good way to learn your anatomy and that, the character designs. Just to throw something out there for others. Hey, Koi. Yeah, no, I started a bit early on this one. Well, not early for me, but super early for you guys. Yeah, I started at about 10:30 UK time. So, you know, mid morning. It's not early. But yeah, no, it's good to see you here. I'm currently. Well, I was giving a little bit of advice on drawing characters and stuff at angles because I know some people struggle with anatomy from time to time. So I was just trying to get a bit of info out for everybody and make the stream a bit more useful to those that come along. Or those that watch the stream, actually. Anyway, Koi, how's it going? I do feel I need to go dark on that dark colour now. Just need to go. With other bits, pick up a colour in it. I think I should take the colour out on this one. Really just emphasise the whole. Dark bit of skin. Snowstorm. Wow. As you can probably tell from here in the UK, it's rather sunny out. So no snow, probably a bit of rain earlier, but yeah, I kind of. Being in the UK, I'd give anything for some snow again. I kind of missed that. We only get a little bit here and there. However, when I was younger, I used to get snow quite a fair bit at the time, which was awesome. Yeah, I know. It's very rare. I don't. It's not warm out. It's just sunny. It's the biggest difference in the UK. You've got some sunshine? Yes. We don't have any warmth. We just have sunshine. We just have a yellow ball in the sky that's colouring things in. So yeah, all good fun. Okay, I think that'll do for that bit. I also want to do these bits next because these are more the blue colour, so I'm actually going to colour change these. And this is the perk of having that layer. I need to find the right shade of blue though, it's not quite. There we go, that's a good base colour blue. So now when I actually do my darker and lighter colour aspect on this, these little bits here that don't look like much, in fact they really don't look like much on the design, but they are going to kind of pop. I kind of want them to be a bit more. Maybe I need to go back more that colour. That's too purple. Let's just colour them in blue. Alright, so it's just a tiny bit lighter. That's better. And then for darker, just go down and across. It's strange, but sometimes when you go darker on these, it is darker, but it doesn't look darker until you've added the light elements. Have a look at that. That one needs a bit of alpha locking in a bit, but I'll sort that a little while later. I think we'll go on to this colour and we'll give it some. In fact, where's that layer? That's part of that one, isn't it? Let's just tidy up around the face a little bit. Really in depth on the face. In fact, I've actually not done the step I said I was going to do to show you guys, so I'll do it on his face up close. What you do, that's part of the chains. What you do is you take your normal layer that you're using. I need to unlock it first. You whack it onto multiply, and now instead of lowering the opacity, which some people do, so sometimes they lower the opacity and you've got like this, a kind of like half blended effect. You don't actually have to lower the opacity. All you do is you go into your hue, saturation, brightness, and you actually up the brightness, up the saturation a little bit, and you play with the hue till you find one that kind of works. And you're just adding a few light bits into it for the brightness, and you can go as bright as you want. And this gives you like a really soft outline around it now. So if I go with this, we're done. We've got this really like nice soft color outline. So a little bit later on, if I have this layer here and I need to do anything tidying up and I want to keep the neat lines, I can actually fill them in here for the lines, which I'll do near the end of merging it in, but then it has that soft outline around it. For now I'm going to turn them back to being the darker colour. I quite like the contrast of it at the moment, and I might keep it that way. I'm not sure what's going on in terms of that bit. But anyway, we're going back onto the kind of these colours, and I kind of want to go they are like beaded gems, aren't they? So we will emphasize the fact that they are kind of gems in a sense. This is where going the other way kind of works, because you wouldn't think the colour is right, but it's actually perfect if you go the other way on the colour wheel. Just to add enough to make this, to make these gems kind of pop on the head a little bit. Still got to add all the lighting and the main shadows onto it afterwards. There's still a fair bit to do, but the initial concept's coming together quite nicely on this so far. And then I've got my colours that I can use for the eyes. Yeah, they kind of do a little bit. I'm kind of going to see how well the colours go when I add the next stage on top in a minute. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. What's the other thing that disappeared with that? Oh, so that was on that layer. Yeah, fair enough. I do need to merge a couple of layers down, but I kind of feel that one might need to go up there. Which doesn't break anything, which is fine. And that way I can work on this bit. After I erase... Oh no. That's fine. Well, that is completely unintentional there, Koi, but happy coincidences. Yeah, I think I've nailed the eyes down to be like... They're not quite the same as CERULEDGE's eyes, slightly, because there's a bit more of a pointy bit down here I'll probably sort out in a bit. But all in all, they do have that similar kind of feel to them. I will be doing a bit of colour correction at the end. There's one or two colours I need to tweak on this slightly, but all in all, it's not too bad. I think I'm about ready to then, or almost about ready to start a final sort of like colour pass on here in terms of darker colours and that need to be done. I missed it earlier, Koi. We were saying that I was saying I'd love to see at the end of the Mario movie Bowser putting on like the power up crown and becoming Bowsette. That'd be quite a cool spin-off thing that they can do. Or something really random like that. There's something that's not exactly planned, but yeah. Something quite cool and interesting on it, just to give a bit of a twist, really. That would be why. It might help if I actually alpha lock the layer that I wanted to tweak. The one thing I've said to everyone to do, alpha lock the layer, and I forgot to do it on this one. Oh. That's a clip it for an epic fail on YouTube moment. I'd say this, Out of the new Pokemon, this is my favourite design from so far from Violet. It's probably my favourite design in both, to be honest. Yeah, that would probably be more realistic, Guy. That I think you might be onto something there. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened as well. It's kind of a weird one, but kind of expect something to happen into it. Okay, so now I'm going to merge all of these bottom layers down. In fact, I'm going to duplicate that, unlock that, turn that layer on, and then that can get merged onto that one so I don't lose anything, hopefully. Cool. Merge all of them together. Actually, one last layer to do before I do that. So here's where the fun begins. All that's merged down. I'll create a clipping mask. We'll try and multiply. Multiply or hard light? Basically want a nice dark. Oh, that's nice. I think hard light, sorry, stuff like hard light's quite nice, and then we'll just knock the opacity down to maybe 50%. Okay, so I clear that now. As we paint, we'll start getting the I'll start getting a much more darker feel to a lot of these areas. And use it to add emphasis on certain aspects of the illustration now. Charles Bennett is on. I suppose never knows. Oh yeah, everybody thinks it's real for. Maybe it would be interesting to see. The weird bit where I'm adding finer details onto this to sort bits out, but it's starting to pop a bit more, but it also makes me realise how much is left to do on it still. It's quite a fair bit from my perspective. For you guys it's not really going to be much. Tell you what, let's add a reference image for you guys up so you can see what's actually happening when I'm zoomed in and changing it. Because when I'm zoomed in and I start tweaking areas of it to be darker, you get to see how this is actually working on the whole. And the overall aspect of it all. Yeah, that would be absolutely hilarious. I reckon they might do something like that. They've got to put something comical in there for it to have the effect they're probably after. The Penguin King might steal the show, to be honest. Yeah, I do like... I think my favourite thing from the trailers that I've seen so far is Cat Mario. I just thought that's absolutely funny and hilarious. And it's quite cool to have in there. What they've done. So it would be quite interesting to see what they continue on some of those aspects. They've got that new commercial trailer that's out as well, haven't they? Where it's like it's a proper plumbing job, which does look quite cool as well. Oh, how's the noise of the fan today, guys? Cool, you'll probably be able to tell. Can you hear the fan as much as normal, or has it died down a little bit? I basically bought a laptop stand which holds it off the table, so I can hopefully get a bit more airflow going to it, and it doesn't sound like it's about to explode every 5 minutes. It's not going to, it just sometimes sounds like it might. Nice. As long as it sounds like a minor white noise, that's the best I can hope for. I do plan on this design to have a certain amount of lighting done a certain way from it, which is why I'm kind of blending in this darker layer a particular way, which I'm hoping looks quite cool on this little reference image. Move that. Kind of feel that needs to be more of a darker blue colour here for what I want on this bit. Which I will tidy up this shortly, but ah, that's awesome, Koi. It's nice to hear that SS Davin's feeling, or starting to feel better, and getting over the cursed ailment that's come about. Nice. I will look forward to seeing that trailer. I've got to make Bowsette into a video at some point for that illustration I did. Although everybody started putting like, where's Mario's eyes looking? And I realised because I've cut the bottom half off, it looks like he's staring down at her chest. He's not. There's more underneath the picture. Bullets come across that way a bit. So I did have a chuckle and I'm like, uh-oh. That's not what I intended, but never mind. And the next trick to do is, I don't know if it's going to be an overlay or an add layer, but I need to overlay. Add might be better, but it wouldn't be quite as bold. Let's have a look. Do I want a kind of pink ad layer to the background? I quite like that. We'll go with that for now. I'll take off the reference image as well for now because it's going to get in the way. If anyone's just joining, we are working on the lighting portion of this illustration. Working on where the main highlights are going to just emphasize a few areas on that. I'm kind of cheating on my method though. I'm using a clipping mask with a layer set to add, lower the opacity a bit, and then just started working on the got like the color I want to use on the add layer for the lighting, and I'm just painting it in. I say kind of cheating a bit, it works really well because all the colors underneath, as long as you do it right, will pick up the bits that you're doing. So it starts actually bringing everything a bit more to life, and then I'll tweak whether it's an add layer or an overlay layer a bit later on. This advert's been on a lot today. They're really plugging that film 65 all over YouTube lately. I mean, it looks good, but I'm going to start getting sick of the advert soon. I do like how when you use different layer modes, the whole contrast starts coming to life on it. Starts standing out a bit more of what you're doing. Of course, the same color has different effects depending on which base color it's going over. What do we think? Do you guys like how that's starting to look with the kind of added bit? Gahal19 says, hey, how about putting Promised Neverland characters into the X-Men universe or an Umbrella character? That could be interesting. I am still looking to do something with Promised Neverland. I know it's been asked a few times how I'm getting on with the series. Haven't been able to continue much of the series. I do need to pick up where I left off on the seasons just to make sure I'm up to date with the lore. But it's definitely on my list of things to look into in the next month or so. To potentially do a video on, because I have been wanting to do something with that. I just need to, again, it's one of those ones where there's so much going on at the channel, it's picking and choosing what ones work. Not a problem, Furious, thank you for joining, and I will no doubt chat to you later on one of the other streams we get onto. But yeah, thank you for joining the stream for as long as you have. Have you thought about Hollow Knight in D&D as like half human, half bug knight? I have. I do need to get back to a D&D episode, to be honest. I have thought about what to do with Hollow Knight on a few things, but haven't really finalised out what I want to do with it yet. I know I want to do something. Hollow Knight is Bleach characters just seem too obvious and too easy. So I'm trying to think of what to do. I'm also thinking of actually getting other characters and making them Hollow Knight characters themselves, which could be quite interesting. But again, it all depends on how a few things fall with the lore. The hardest thing isn't actually drawing the characters, it's coming up with decent lore for it. I find it's the story that goes with it. It has to be enough to keep fans of whichever genres I do or I choose excited about it. But no, I'm definitely need to do another D&D episode at some point. It's high on my list of things to be doing. So potentially Hollow Knight into D&D could happen. Definitely going to do something with Hollow Knight this year. I've got a few on the list that are like I keep umming and ahhing over, and I'm thinking I just have to get down and do something with it. Oh, I like how that started turning out. bit. This is a kind of like a dangerous area to be in on the artwork. For those who want pointers, it's very easy to go too much on this now. So where I'm doing details, which is great, I could end up doing too many details rather than letting some of the simple shapes just do the job for me. I mean, I'm still trying to get the hang of this digital painting style, so it's quite interesting to see how this is turning out. While I'm trying to think about the lighting that I use and the general everything about the piece, really, to make it, I want it to pop and stand out, but I also want it to be considerate of the feel of the piece. Yeah, consider it. Basically, I need to consider how much lighting affects everything. I take it just as agreeing this is the bit where too much detail may take everything away from the actual what's happening. Yes. If that's what you're agreeing to, I completely agree. It's so easy to go too strong on colours at certain parts, and I just want to get the emphasis on a few. Few areas in here to, because I haven't even done the main bit, the highlights on this. Yeah, but these are going to be more, I can cheat more on this. This is going to be more of a funky highlight design. Because it's a blade, even though it's made out of the flames, I can actually almost cheat on this now and go, hey, since you turn the narrator in the Pokemon, does that mean you'll turn Loki and his territory in the Pokemon as well? Not currently, no. The narrators will be coming out of the... One of the narrators, at least, is going to be coming out of the Pokemon form for the redraw. Ehrenfold's got to be back into normal form for it, otherwise it makes no sense whatsoever, unless... I guess the other thing is, unless we have it where it's another story of something happening to the narrators either before or after, and they've recapped it, and then I can do that. It's hard to explain because the storyline is they are currently Pokemon in this other universe, but that means they're separate for everything happening in the current universe, like with the last video where I had it. What was the last video I did? I've even forgotten the name of the last video I did. The one basically where I had it talking about the... the last community redraw, the fusion reality one. That had none of the narrators because they were stuck in another dimension. And currently they're still in another dimension, which means that it could be a while before they are ever seen again. It just depends on what happens really on on getting them out or not. I mean, if you guys are happy for me, or you know, you think it'll be quite, if it needs the narrator to be back out of that, for it to make sense, yeah. If not, then it's not really a huge issue, and I could potentially just write a story with the narrator. But I'm trying to keep a kind of like a timeline flow at the moment on some of the stories. Or maybe I don't eat. Maybe I just have it where it's like they reference it and they actually say about how we got out of it later on as another one, and we've brought them out. It's kind of tricky to figure out the best way forwards with it because there's so many possible solutions to what could be done, which unfortunately means it's a bit harder to do anything on my side, because it's like, well, if I do this, then I've got to think about this, and if I do this, I've got to think about this, but doing this means that I can do this. And I guess it's what's better for the story at the moment, the continuity across the board, or having some fun and wacky. Fun and wacky would be good, but continuity is what really drives a lot of things. I'm kind of merging styles now. I wanted this to have more of a creating kind of like a flame sword effect at the base, more fiery than it is actually the rest of it. Yeah, I like that better now. Kind of feel there's going to be a bit of a yeah, thanks, Justin. I'm really liking how this is turning out. I'm very, like I said a minute ago, I'm very cautious about where I'm putting these highlights. Obviously, I want a certain amount of it to be on here and, you know, give the idea of an armor, but I also want it to potentially not detract from the rest of the piece. So where I add them, I'm very conscious in my mind where I'm adding stuff to go into this to give it the effect that I want it to be, like it is. That almost like that metallic armory feel at the same time as being if that makes sense, you know, where we've got the I don't want everything to scream armour, but at the same time, I want enough of it to scream solid. If that makes sense, so we've got the whole... So it's kind of like, where do you put the highlights to make them work on this? And then when you put the rest of the bits in to make like the flame pattern. I need these to kind of like be a certain level of brightness as well, so like this display bit here is going to be a lot brighter than the other side of it, but that's because it's technically facing the main point of light. Oh, I'm loving how this is turning out now on this bit. I don't know, I just feel this is like, these eyes are starting to really pop a bit. I want too much, just want a nice subtle glow to it. Oh, I'm really liking this so far. Hey, that arty dude. Welcome, or the arty dude. Welcome back. Yeah, it's coming out really well so far. I have also done a few tips in this stream, so if you watch it back later on, a few tips. But if I'm right remembering, you're trying to draw anatomy lately, aren't you? You're looking to do more sort of like anatomy style drawings, if I'm right, like getting good to drawing you're getting good at drawing like human figures. Cool. There are these little figures you can get called body kun. It's basically body is in body and then KUN, and they're little figures. You get a set of stuff to go with it. I mean, the leg's broken off this one. I've had it was broken, but you can basically pose them how you want to, and then draw them at that angle. So depending on what angle you've got them at, you can use it as references to draw. It's more for the anime manga style sort of dimensions and stuff, but they are... Just broke the arm. No, sometimes they are a bit fidgety, but it's fine. They are really good. Look into a set. You can get them with shields, swords and stuff. They're not too expensive. I'll put a link in the Discord to some later. I often use them from time to time and pose the characters, and they do help. Oh, you've got one. Yeah, they're amazing for it. They're absolutely amazing for drawing, and I use it from time to time. If I can't find a reference pose I want, I suddenly remember I've got one of them, and I start looking to sort that bit out. Yeah, that's cool. I was just thinking it saves a bit of reference hunting, but it's also, they are really useful. I'm not sure there's much else to do on this now. I think we're almost there on the end of this one. This one's kind of, it's a completely different painting style. The only thing potentially to do, if I turn that back to normal, is to just check what happens if I do what Justin, if you're still there, I think you said at the start about doing softer lines around the edges. So the idea is to take a dark colour, a bit darker with it. I probably need a paintbrush one actually. What do we feel doing kind of like the... What do we prefer, the darker line or the... I suppose I've got to do a light area as well, haven't I? On the flames it might be useful. Kind of like it on the flame elements. Oh, I'm definitely doing it on the flame bits. No worries. Finished the drawing. That took me an hour to draw and post it. Awesome. I will have a look after the stream. I tend to I'm not sure if you were here earlier. I tend to not have Discord open when I stream because it kind of kills it a little bit. But I am actually loving how this this effect's coming out. Got to make this thin enough to be sure I can do that line without Yeah, I didn't think on the lines when I was doing it, but after doing this and having this like light effect around the whole flame bit, I decided I've got to do it. Thank you. I'm glad you like how this is coming out. Best thing about it being a live stream though as well is you are free to at any point you need to watch it again. Any tips, any points, if you can learn stuff from the live stream, you know, from the bits I've done in here, feel free to watch the live stream over and over, pause the bits you want and just watch it because it's real time. All I've done in Procreate is basically put a clipping mask on, a brighter colour than I've actually got from the colour picked from the shoulder, and it turns out to give a really, I'd say, quite a ghosty effect on the flames and that. And I think it's just helped make part of this literally pop. So I'm really enjoying how this is going. How long have we been going? Oh, I've only been going 3 hours. This is fine. Random thing there. Oh, we've only been going 3 hours. But yeah, no, I'm quite enjoying how that's starting to look. We'll also need to do this bit here because this is also part of the whole aspect of it. Yeah, live critique also helps. It's one of the other reasons I like doing live streams is to get the feedback from you guys, because having the feedback from time to time from everybody does help, and then obviously taking it on board or being able to ask the questions back and forth and stuff, or even just mentioning a few bits of it to you guys seems to help you with what you're doing, but also helps me remember what I'm doing. Yes, I have plugged Patreon on this already, but Patreon, yeah, I will definitely be doing behind the scenes stuff. So for Patreon, if anybody joins it, you get the artwork as high-res versions usually before the video comes out, but you will get that version. Live streams are different because it has to be after the live stream, unfortunately. So this will be high-res on Patreon by the end of the day. And then it's a case of looking at getting stuff behind the scenes. So I'll be doing an extra live stream each week, which is behind the scenes for Patreons, which may include seeing what's happening on an upcoming video and some of the artwork that's being drawn for it on one of the evenings, which I think will work really well. Really, Koi? Did you? Wait, when? I'm confused because the last time I looked at it, it said 0. But if you have, thank you so much. If I understood what you put right. If I didn't, then just correct me. I appreciate that. Appreciate that feedback. I'm really happy with how this is coming out. I had a kind of an idea of what I wanted in mind, but this is far beyond what I thought. I've kind of I was cheeky. I turned it from my normal painting style to be like a fused style in a way, taking aspects from everything I've learned really and just sorting the lines out. I think I'll probably continue with the softer lines and everything as well. Oh no, I completely appreciate that, Koi. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I don't think you guys don't have to, but yeah, completely appreciate that. Thank you. So now's your chance, Koi. Download all the artwork before it runs out. Because literally it is all the high-res versions of the art on there. To download all the Phobius dragons, all the latest My Zombie Academia illustrations. The old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones are on there as well, all the Venomized ones I did. So we've got Shredder, Rocksteady, Bebop, Splinter, Leonardo, the Rat King, Raphael, Mikey. Do need to do another one of those actually. Oh yeah, I've done that on the channel as well at some point. I did 7 Deadly Sins as dinosaurs. I'm not surprised, Koi. I figured you'd probably go and get that if you joined. No, I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, I am getting a little bit closer to that watch time goal, Koi. Just a little bit. I think I've got... I think I'm around 350 hours to go now. That's before the stream, obviously. I don't know what I'm going to get for the stream, which will be a lovely added little bonus. So thank you everybody for joining, and if you're jumping in and out, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's always good to see people, especially when I've changed the time of the streams to be a bit earlier in the day than normal. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I just have to make all of these lines that purple colour. Yeah, just make all these purple, and then I'm going to add a clipping mask on a base layer, and it's going to hopefully make this really work. Oh, Koi, that's insane. My lifetime watch time so far says 3.7, but I don't really trust it because it's not, that's the total one. So I've had 3.7k hours in total on the lifetime of the channel, but towards the earn goal, it's goal, I think it was what was it recently? I think it was 355, or no, 3661 I think was the last tally when I looked at it, which is really good. I'm really pleased with that. It's just a case of making sure that it's just a case of making sure that that kind of like follows through. People are people who make people. That's the weirdest advert I've heard for a website. Alright, so if I clear this in, I basically just want to soften all of these harsh lines a little bit around here. The blacks. I mean, I'm keeping the black layer, the inks, because I'm also going to do this this artwork with just the ink version, so no colours, that people can download as a part of a bundle set at some point. Oh no, I appreciate that, Koi. I decided to put everything on there the other day. It's like, yes, I will put everything on my Patreon. I've just got to make sure to keep up with it is the key thing. Once I keep up with adding the content, whoever joins when they join will get it. There's only one tier. It will give access to a part of my Discord that's hidden at the moment for anybody who's not of that role. I don't know if Koi can actually Quite, I don't know if you can see that on my Discord server yet. If not, I will have to set that up. I haven't had a Patreon. I haven't had a Patreon to test it out. It should have given you a new role, a DempseyJ Destroyer. I couldn't think of anything else. Destroyer was it. I think I was working on something at the time, and then it was just yeah, sorting that out. Right, so that needs a clipping mask on that. If I turn that on, perfect. That's lined that up nicely. So now what I need to do is just add something on here for is that actually doing anything? No. That's about there. Awesome. Can you actually see any of the channels? I haven't put anything in there whatsoever currently, but you should hopefully be able to see like this category with a load of like behind the scenes, ask me this, ask me that. I'll probably be more active on there than the main one as it builds up. I'll still be there to answer anyone's questions on the main Discord, but it's kind of the added extra bits. I quite like how this has turned out, actually. I do feel I'm kind of not pink enough on... kind of not pink enough. It's not quite... And then I need a bit more of the... not much, just enough to... give that kind of feel from the... like the ghost vibe effect. I think we're probably done. What do you guys think? How do you like CERULEDGE? I keep saying CERULEDGE, or CERULEDGE, it's CERULEDGE. At least according to my eldest. I think I just need to do one more small thing on here and then it's literally finished. Let's add a bit more colour back into this. bit of a faint glow of these, because there's light in that ghost engine. Maybe it'll have a bit of a glow. And a bit more pink into here. Oh, that's a point. Wow, that's changed the whole look and feel of it, hasn't it? Nah, throw it the other way. Awesome, I think it looks dope, thank you. I have a very neat request in the Discord, haha. Oh, I'm going to have to find out what that is now. How am I going to do that? Yeah, I'm going to just be cheeky. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I got enough battery power. I'm going to load up Discord and have a look at the request. Thank you, Tegan. I think it's probably the best we've got to do, and it hasn't I don't think I've overdone it. I think it's a nice tribute to CERULEDGE, which is quite cool. And I think it's got the right amount of glowing, kind of like the cartoon to digital paint. So it's clear it's still that Pokemon. In fact, actually, it would still have... This is where I'm spotting bits that, you know, just kind of need... Not a huge amount, just the smallest amount of... It seems daft, but there's more of a overhang from the actual headpiece. So even though it's all lit, everything's lit up quite nicely, it's just this little bit of a... That's better. It comes down a bit further on the front. That arty dude, also that arty dude, thank you. I do appreciate that. It has taken a little while to do a few things. Get used to it. This is probably the best digital art piece I've ever done, so I'm glad you guys could join me on stream for that, because yeah, it's absolutely insane how well this has come out. A few bits to refine, but it does also go to show that sorting out the some of the line art and the steps earlier on really does make a difference. Nice. Koi, I do like your suggestion that you've put into the destroy suggestions. I won't say it out loud because it's a DempseyJ destroyer suggestion. But no, that's quite a nice idea. I will definitely put that on the list. I like that. It'll be quite cool. What I'm going to do now is just quickly show you guys the actual time-lapse replay. So we started off with trying to figure out the pose, and we went through a few. So if I go back, we've got the kind of like trying to do the Carnage roaring pose forwards, and it didn't look right. Did it from the side, tried to do it forwards, and just didn't look right. So I decided to start working on the basic structure of the piece. So this is the one that we've done. and the really rough sketch is kind of like to this point, which is really weird to see this, and then you see the final version afterwards. And then we just sort of did the inking and spent a lot of time working on the inking, so afterwards it's a nice, clear, clean set of line art to work on. Added the background to it, and then just started working through all the flats, which is quite nice. A few of the colours and the gradient bits onto it. Since we had the background, we kind of have the colours we can pick up to highlight on areas like the pinks and everything. And I think it works well with the composition of the piece. And then that flash was where I was playing around with the layers to see about the lighting bit. Obviously you guys were here for sorting out this bit of the lighting, sorting out those elements. I did a couple more layers with effects, and then just blended it together, and then by the end of it we end up with this rather nice piece, which we've got here. Canvas information. Yeah, so about 3.5 hours to do that, which is absolutely fantastic. So I will be probably calling it a day there, actually, on the stream. We've done a stream, we've done it for about 3.5 hours. So has anybody got any questions you want to ask me in the chat before I disappear? And then I will be posting a speed paint version of this as well, sort of like the time lapse but done a bit faster, on the channel in the next few days for those who want to rewatch it a bit faster. And then yeah, cool. Yes, Tegan, you can pet the Pokemon. This one's very friendly. It looks menacing, but this one's a friendly Pokemon. But yeah, well, I guess we'll call it there today, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream, and I will see you on the next one. Friday is going to be a normal video, and it's either going to be Pokemon Mech Armors or a Booster Art Challenge. I'm not 100% sure which one yet. We'll see what happens to which one's ready in time. But yeah, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed how CERULEDGE came out, and I will catch you all later. Bye.